but that is the information that was passed down, was that they will be referring those people to the disaster case management program for whatever additional resources they might can locate.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you, Ashley. And once again, our EMA is very, very important. And to Alert Lounge, we need you guys to go sign up for Alert Lounge so that you know what's going on for our community. Okay, this is a good question because I get this question a lot. What do we do when you have a landlord that will not fix or do anything to their home that we live in since the hurricane? It's getting in bad mode, but they still want us to pay rent each month. These people need help. They don't know where to find help. Okay, folks, so unfortunately, that is a civil matter. That is a civil matter. However, you can call code enforcement. Code enforcement cannot come into your house unless invited. So you can come. If you have any issues like that, please get in contact with our code enforcement. Call down to the city. We will definitely send someone out to go there so that way that we can record the violations or anything that's going on so we can see what's happening. And then from there, we can take that and that can be added to that civil matter. Is that correct? Right. Mr. Manager?
Right, the code enforcement can't come into a house unless they're invited. Once they do that, then they'll turn that information over to the appropriate agency, and that agency will get there and make sure that that family is safe. But of course, they have to be invited in. Code enforcement can only stand out on the outside and look and make a report based on what they see on the outside. But if they're invited in, they'll go in and take a look, and they'll make a report to the appropriate agency to report. The county may have different procedures.
I'm the county manager. I'm Richard's counterpart. We're actually having a lot of conversations with this at the county because the magistrate court judges, that is a county court. And I actually spoke with Judge Parker earlier this week, and we have a lot of citizens that are waiting to talk about the problems that they're having with their home being cared for and their landlords not being responsive. And all of that's not happening until they get to the court process and until they're facing eviction. And as was mentioned by both Councilman Harden as well as Richard Hardy, you need to call code enforcement. Same process with the county as it is with the city. Call code enforcement before you fall so far behind in your rent or you're trying to make a point to your landlord by not paying it. Because once you're evicted, then the landlord does not have to let code enforcement in. So we are not in the process where the county is concerned. If your home is in ill repair and you've got a big mold problem, I know sometimes people are afraid to call us because they think that we may come in and condemn that structure and kick you out, and then while where you are is not great, then you're not going to have anywhere to go. And we are not going to do that. But one of the things that we've been charged with from a staff perspective at the county is to really take a look at the renters' rights. There's state legislation that addresses that, and I'm sure that that's something that that Representative Sharper can talk to you all about. But we want to strengthen the ordinances in an unincorporated area so that our landlords really have to be more responsive to our renters. So we are in the process of looking at that and exploring that for staff to make some recommendations to the county elected officials for the unincorporated area. But legally the process is very similar outside city limits as it is inside city limits. The most important part of that is to please just call code enforcement before you get to court. Yes, sir, Councilman Howard.
Nick, I'm going to get Representative Sharper back in here because Georgia has some of the weakest renter protection laws we have. Dexter, they need you in here, brother. We have to push that up at the state level. Yeah, they need you in here.
Okay. Does the county or city have generators to assist senior citizen apartment complexes with all areas of the city or county? Or will Georgia Power or COVID be able to assist getting generators after nights being out over 10 or 14 days?
program that usually follows a declaration for mitigation funding. So for the unincorporated area, we don't have as many of the homes, or we didn't get as many calls from senior citizens. We know that there were some elder care homes and some other apartment complexes that house a lot of seniors that were in city limits. And it doesn't matter to us. When these programs come down, we make sure that they're offered to everyone. The complication that the county has as well, as while city residents are on city water, and we have water that is municipal water in the county, we also have 69 private water systems. And part of the problem that we ran up against in the unincorporated area is that a lot of those private water systems did not have generator backup on them. And I think the question came up very quickly after Hurricane Helene, is it harder to live without water, or is it harder to live without electricity? And I think we would all say water is the big answer there, even though neither one of them are very comfortable. Our fire department very quickly jumped on this challenge because we had people who had followed directions and maybe filled their bathtubs up so that they had water to flush their toilets, and we were without water and power long enough that ran out for some people. So we set drop tanks up at our volunteer fire department so that citizens could go in and fill their own jugs to be able to do things like flush their toilet and wash some and maybe rinse their clothes out. But really the point that I wanted to make is that there was mitigation funding that was available, that the county reached out to some of those apartment complexes that we know house seniors, to our local nursing homes, as well as all of those water systems that don't have generators on them. When those grants are funded, then 75% of the cost of that generator is paid by FEMA, and then the other 25% has to be paid by that location owner. So we made sure that the county was in a position to offer that to everyone, which meant that the county would have to be reimbursed that 75% when those grants are awarded. Sometimes it can take a couple of years to get through the process. But that generator question, and I know it was mentioned earlier, Chief Boutwell did a great job of answering that as well. I think that that's one of our biggest vulnerabilities as a community that we have to face, whether it's our private citizens or our public facilities, or us taking care of those in special populations that need help the most. So please know there's programs that we have taken advantage of, that we have offered there. Again, it takes some time to get that back through, but we will continue to lean very hard into that effort. There are some instances where through the emergency management framework that Ashley kicks into whenever a disaster is declared, that we can make some resource requests to Georgia Emergency Management. And then if there are generators available across the state, they can get those into our area. And we did have some of our facilities that were able to take advantage of that during both Hurricane Idalia and Helene. We try to get those requests in as soon as possible, because when you have multiple counties that are impacted, everyone's fighting for that resource. But again, we hear you where that's concerned, and we'll continue to look for programs and ways that we can bring more generators into our community.
Well, I do have to state the question. Go ahead. All right. Well, this is in calligraphy right here. This is. It's cursive. No, that's calligraphy. With the dismantling of many federal resources, organizations that help mitigate the catastrophic effects of natural disasters such as FEMA, NOAA, what is our response on a local level to make sure we are prepared, properly funded to remain effective, to be able to ensure that we have residents, please, have resilient communities. What communications are we having on a state level?
Whoever did that question, do you feel like you want to stand real quick, if you can, if you don't mind, and just break it down and get down to the bottom of it? Okay.
Oh, right, okay.
Go ahead. So what exactly, can you break that down?
Just some of the things that are coming down with House Resolution 1 on the federal level,
Okay.
and just with some of the ways that things are being shifted and the way they're trickling down, and just making sure that we in Georgia are prepared to face the imminent funding cuts or threats to it. I may not have all my facts right, so let me just preface it with that. but I'm just wondering what we're doing on the state level to be able to handle what's eventually gonna come down. We see FEMA under threat, NOAA, all these things that are safeguards that are in place to make sure that nationally, as a country, are prepared. But the states are definitely gonna have to, feel it in the brunt of things.
All right, so my answer to that is, as we look at all the different types of federal funding that's being cut in every areas, so we're looking at, in the GMA, we're putting more money in the budgets for that. We understand what's happening, so we're putting more money into that, and people like our systems and our resources here, we're trying to get more money into all of those different resources so we can have what we need. So we are like definitely looking at all our different committees that are looking at that, the budget, we looking at all of these things, so we know it's on us. At the end of the day, it's gonna be us, and not only on us, because a lot of things that are funded, just say the health department, for instance. We know we're gonna lose a lot of money in the public health departments. So I'm on actually a study committee, and we're going around the state. We just finished in Atlanta, I'll be in Dublin, then I'll be in Dalton, and we're going different places so that we can find out what the agencies really need. So in Lowndes County alone, when we look at the amount of money that the state gives to the health departments, the county has stepped up even more. Usually a lot of times they give about 12% match type, but for years, even in Lowndes County, they've been giving 40 and 50% because they know we do what we need to do at the state, and then they do what they can at a county level, and that's commendable for a lot of the counties to be able to say, look, we know there's a problem, it's in our county. So we're revamping all that as we speak to see what more we can do and what more the county would have to possibly do or maintain what they're doing. But I was knowing about the renters' rights here, and I think you got this information back in the back as well. Make sure you get this because 2024 Safe Home Act gives you more protection to Georgia renters, all right? If you don't get this sheet, this is what I'm gonna go to it, it's not long, okay? Your landlord may not charge you a security deposit that is more than 2 months' rent. So a lot of them are doing these things and they're not supposed to. It's in law, we voted on it. Your landlord must provide a unit that is fit for human habitation. Meaning, I see some people and they get desperate about houses and they go in and look at a home and say, I want this home. And they say, well, we got to work on so-and-so and we got to work on so-and-so. It's not all the way clean. Okay, I'll take it. Don't worry about it. Don't do that. Don't do that at all. You got to make sure, and if you live in, or somebody you know that's living in a bad situation, I know we have city, county programs that you can report this, but you can report it to me directly as well. Let me know what's going on, because I give you the real deal what's happening in a lot of places. That's why I have different relationships with different landlords, because when people call me, I call the landlord, and I really tell them, I say, look, if you don't get this right, we're going to come at you from a state level, and you're going to be on that list of every time somebody's calling, complaining about you, we're gonna red flag you every time. So I've been doing that for 20 years, even when I was on city council, and I know some of the city council, county commission, y'all can get those calls from people about the landlords not doing what they're supposed to do. And I'm gonna continue to do that because it's not fair that some of the pictures I can probably show y'all of what people send me or what they're living in, and then the landlord's saying, we're going up on your rent. For what? Ain't nothing better, it's worse. So therefore, we can tackle that, and we have to. And the third thing right here, if you did not pay your rent or other charges on time, your landlord must tell you in writing to move out or pay all money owed within 3 business days before they can file for eviction. So don't worry about something. They got to do what a lot of them don't do. They say, hey, look, you need to be out by Friday. They can't just tell you that. Everything has a system. So know your rights. Educate yourself on all these resources in here, and especially laws. I don't care what you say. If you got a law to back it up, you got some power on you. So I'm going to be here, so even if you have something going on that you know about personally, you let me know. We're going to write it down. I'm going to call that landlord. We had someone, their roof fell in the other day. in an apartment, okay? And there's a baby and somebody else, you don't give names, okay. But anyway, the lady said, I've called this place, I've called this place, I've called this place. Somebody said, I need to call you. She called me. She gave me the number to that place. I called them, told them who I was. And guess what? The same day, they had that whole entire ceiling. I said, if you don't fix that, if you got another unit available in your complex, that person needs to have it. And the last thing I'm going to say right here, Nick, and they got that taken care of. They actually gave it transfer to a better unit. They fixed the other one, but she said, no, I want this one. And so that was taken care of. That's how personal I am with you guys. Let's get it done. Last thing, make sure everybody in this room spread the word and do it yourself. Make sure you have renter's insurance. Usually you can get renter's insurance for between $15 and $20. Because if something happens, whether it's a flood or whether it's some damages and it messes up your stuff, they are not liable for that. You're liable for it, and it's your stuff. So I know you go out to eat and do different things and spend money here and there, but get you some renter's insurance, or you're going to be looking ugly. All right? Thank y'all so much.
Thank you, Representative Stryker, for that. Appreciate it. Definitely. Okay. All right. We surely do. Do this question. Is the city performing periodic clearing and inspection of storm water drainage areas such as canals? And this kind of ties together. What plans does the city have to improve drainage and reduce flooding of homes and apartments, specifically on East Park Avenue near Fire Station 2? All right. That is Mr. Ben O'Dowd, our engineer. Thanks, Ben.
There's two parts of this. Does the city perform periodic clearing and maintenance of canals and drainage systems? Yes, we do. The city's under an MS4 permit, which requires us to inspect and clean all of our storm system at least once every 5 years. And we are on a 3-year cycle, so we clean and inspect ahead of schedule as required by our permit. That's what our staffing is set at. And then as far as the plans along East Park Avenue, yes, the city does have plans to improve flooding in that area. We're underway with plans specifically on phase 1, which is what we're calling the work that we're doing over and along Lakeland Avenue from Melrose to Barack Obama. And then phase 2, we're hoping to obtain a One Georgia grant to help fund some of the discrepancy from a cost standpoint to improve some drainage underneath East Park Avenue. And then additionally, we've got SPLOST 9 funds, which your council has voted to approve in support of. And then now it's your opportunity to vote and approve SPLOST 9. But as part of the SPLOST 9 funding program, we are proposing drainage improvements on the south side of East Park Avenue. So new drainage improvements basically between Park and Wellington, which we're hoping will resolve some of the flooding and drainage issues that we've had through there. So I think that answered the question.
Thank you so much, Ben. All right. We have another question. What about families that are out there that are out of a house right now because of the hurricane and due to many circumstances that are having a hard time getting a place? Is there funding mechanisms out there? Right now, I'm going to bring in Ms. Kelly Saxon, who is very knowledgeable about some of these funding mechanisms in our community. Kelly, please come.
Councilman Harden, there are a lot of resources that are available in community to help with housing instability. We have several nonprofits who, when funding is available, they can assist. We want to look at if someone is displaced. We have our Lamb Homeless Shelter when it's not filled. You also have your Salvation Army for men who can transition. And the goal is to be able to transition people into stabilized and permanent housing. The question has come about resources to help those who have been displaced by the storm. I would say we're working on it. We're working on it as a community, and this is one of the big steps to moving together as a community to see what resources are out there and to hear the needs of the people. So one of the things that we want to talk about is your community development block grant disaster recovery. If you are a homeowner, that program is there to help you to make you whole again. The paper is in the back, it's been mentioned several times. And then also there's CDBG disaster recovery for nonprofits. And then there's disaster recovery money for our local governments. And everyone named has said that they will apply and look into that funding. So our state funding has been provided through Georgia Department of Community Affairs. And that funding is available for the city of Valdosta, for Lowndes County, for Lanier County, all of these different counties who have experienced this flooding or experienced damages. That funding is available. So we want to make sure that we get in on that and get the funding. Another thing is, people have asked about, I'm afraid to tell code enforcement about my issue because I may not have a place to go. It's real. And we need housing. We need housing, and that's what is being worked on to be able to do these funding opportunities. There are more grants and things that are coming our way. And we're at the long-term recovery part. You all have heard that before, the recovery part. And I'll tell you, myself and Dr. Schreiber went to DC to advocate for CDBG disaster recovery. So I'm not telling you what I heard, I'm telling you what we advocated for. And it takes everyone together who are able to be in those spaces to talk and say, hey, don't forget about us below the mat line. Don't forget about us below Warner Robins and Macon. We have needs too. So that is so important. And another thing I want to do this, Nick, if you're experiencing someone coming to do work on your house, if a tree falls, and someone mentioned that this happened to a lot of people, they had people to come and say, we can move your trees, and they didn't see them anymore. They paid for it. So you want to make sure that you call your city, call your county to verify who are your contractors in the community. If they're from out of town, verify, verify, verify. Verify again. And I will tell you, those resources on the back of that table is critical. They are critical. Another thing, Habitat for Humanity, Justin was going to be here, but he couldn't make it today due to an emergency. They have a program to help seniors to age in place. So if you're needing a ramp, or if you're needing things for your house, contact Habitat for Humanity. It takes all of us to make our community a better place. I hate to tell you this, but with learning all of this disaster recovery, they're saying 3 to 5 years before we're whole again. But we'll work together, we'll be community, with an emphasis on unity. So we're all in this together. And I'm telling you, this event is showing that you're heard, you're seen, and we should work together. And this is a good opportunity. You have your representatives here. The city can't do it, the county can't do it if they don't hear from you, and vice versa. So this is the beginning. So you're not bothering anybody by contacting and asking questions and asking for help. Thank you.
Y'all know Kelly, you know, she is passionate about making sure folks are taken care of and made whole. And so we appreciate what you do in the community. Thank you so much. All right. We said we're going to wrap up at 7:30. I got a couple more minutes. But this is a question. The city encourages see, click, and fix. Y'all know what see, click, and fix is? Anybody? Anybody? See, click, and fix. It's a very, very great tool. Anyway, we'll talk about how great it is in just a second, because this saying it's not. But the city encourages see, click, and fix. What is a good response time to reported issues? For example, the majority of see, click, and fixes are closed with no action or go years without action after being acknowledged. I need my city manager to come in and talk about that, because I think that we made some very good changes to See, Click, and Fix lately, and we need y'all to use them.
Just like Councilman Martin said, See Click Fix is a tool for our citizens to get involved. You see something, you go there, See Click Fix, you take a picture, you identify it, and every department, they get notified of that infraction.
Through the website.
Through the website. It's a phone app. You go your iPhone or whatever type of cell phone, you can download that app, and you can do those things. Each Friday, at the end of the week, the department has a reminder to take a look and update and clear all the write-ups. What I mean is clear is make sure that we responded, it's in work, or it gets forwarded to whichever agency that is applicable to. Some of the items are not as high a priority as others. So once they acknowledge they're in work, it goes through a timeline. Each department, they establish that priority, making sure they put it in line with all of the other things they got. So if you have a sewer spill, that's a top priority. I can assure you that's going to get taken care of right, that's ASAP. Whereas you have something minor, a minor infraction that, again, it gets put in that queue where they're going to probably respond to it at a little later given point in time. But we take it serious. It's something that we're working on, and we understand we have a lot that we can do with. But if you think about all the issues that comes out, some of them just have a higher priority than others. So we have to prioritize and put that manpower in place based off of that priority. Thanks.
All right. Mr. Larry Ogden is over our public works. He wears a lot of hats, and he's going to answer that question.
And to piggyback off of what Mr. Hardy said, See Click Fix, our response time generally is 1 to 3 days. But however, due to the storm in the past, we have had a large turnover of personnel. So one of the reasons that a lot of the tickets are not getting responded to as quickly, we have personnel that has retired or moved on to other positions or other organizations. So the system is still set up to where it's sending it to the old email address. So the PIO, Shar, and myself had a meeting. We have a manager now that's over See Click Fix. So we're working with her to try to get the system recalibrated to where we can assign those tickets to the right personnel, the ones that's currently working in those positions. I know personally that I would still receive some tickets from traffic. I'm no longer in traffic. So a lot of the personnel that was here, and when those tickets came in, the system automatically routed them to the appropriate personnel, and the response time was 1 to 3 days. The ticket was acknowledged, sent to the right person, and we addressed that issue as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, currently, the response time is a lot longer now because, once again, we're trying our best to get these old email addresses purged from the system so we can get the new ones in and we can start responding to those tickets a lot faster.
All right, folks. So I just want to thank everyone for coming out. Let me tell you, I want to encourage you all. We have a meeting twice a month. And I hear a lot of folks, not y'all, I hear a lot of folks that say different things about what's going on, what's not going on, what's happening, what's not happening, right? But I don't see some of them folks at the meeting. I need you all to come to the meetings. We have those so that you can have an opinion. There's a couple of folks that we see pretty often. But I need more. I need you guys to come to the meetings. I need that. That is very important so that you know what's going on. But let me tell you, we have invested, if you cannot make the meeting, we have invested in some very good technology that allows you to hear and see. She's actually seen it. Go to our Facebook page and you can literally see and hear everything. Everything that we do every twice a month, first and third Thursdays, pretty much, for the most part. So yes, please come. We thank all our vendors. Please stay, go around. They have some more material. If you haven't got the materials, please go around. I see a couple more folks with questions. If you have some questions, feel free to come up to the front, ask us. We're going to be sticking around for a couple minutes. Thank you so much. I also want to, Valdosta On Demand is back there. I didn't acknowledge them. Valdosta On Demand is very great tool that we need. We need you guys to utilize this system. I mean, there are no public transportation programs quite like this one. This is amazing to basically come to your neighborhood to pick you up and take you for $2 or $3. You cannot beat that. Yes, sir.